I'm live, Dr. Graham here at Dr. Kelsey Graham YouTube. I want to talk about wedding directing for a moment. Just did a little teeny tiny little wedding, and I've done, between Catherine and I over the years, have done thousands of weddings. We've given away so much of our work, it's not even funny. And this wedding today brings this whole thing home because as the minister, you kind of expect to get a little respect. But I'm not going to harp on that right now. I'm going to leave that alone. That's one key thing is like, be nice. And they just don't know how to be nice. But anyway, let's get away from that because here's the big thing. So got on the internet to check, see what two girls directing this wedding, this little teeny tiny wedding. Let me tell you how tiny this wedding was. It was at a cabin on a mountain. Okay, so I'm back again. It dropped for some, but on the mountainside. And here's the deal. There were 20 chairs, and they were not even full. I don't think there were 15 people there, counting us standing up. There might have been 15 people with the bride, the groom, me, and everybody else. It just was not many people. They're very tiny, almost informal wedding. They hired this girl and this girl's employee partner, whatever, that charges this phenomenal fees, month of coordinating, and then the day of and reception. She's charging upwards to $8,000. I don't know what this couple paid her, but this is going according to her website. Her fees charges like $300 for a 2-hour consultation. So that's $150 an hour she's charging there. She's got reviews, and her reviews are good. I'm not knocking all that, but here's where I'm going with this. Two girls directing this wedding, and I know that people that get married don't know weddings, so they're easily, as far as I'm concerned, they're easily snookered by these women. And yes, it's women. I'm sorry, nothing wrong, but I have yet to meet a male wedding director. They've all been female in my 10 years, and they're all, not all, there are, I think I can count 3 on my hand that I've worked with that I would say, hire them, they're good. Most of them are clueless. They don't know how to read a person. They don't know how to be congenial. They are just nauseating to me. All right, but I work with them. I put a smile on my face, whatever. But let me go back to this wedding today. I have no clue. I can only go by what's on the website, but I can have no clue of what this couple paid these two girls for their work. So she's going on and on and on about where she wants me and the groom and the best man, which is all the men in the, is right there, is us 3. I'm the preacher. He's got a best man and the groom. Wants us to hide around the corner of the house, and then she's going to tell us when to come out, and then the next thing would be the maid of honor, and then I guess a ring, a guy holding vows. He didn't have the rings, a kid. And then flower girl, and then the bride. You're talking about a little bitty tiny cabin, 20 chairs set up, and almost half of the chairs were empty. It wasn't like there were 20 people there. There was not. And very, DJ set up on the porch of this little tiny cabin. And one song, that's how short a processional it was. We all got out to one Goo Goo Girl song. That's how short the thing was. And that was it. And that's what this girl's doing. And she's making a big production out of nothing. So here we go. So she's got us around the corner. The groom had not seen his bride all day. She's got us hiding around the house. And we're standing. And we're waiting. I've already seen the bride get there. She's up in a little cabin. Her dad's there. And we're just all waiting and waiting. And this handful of guests are sitting out there with the cold wind blowing from the side of the mountain. And we're all just waiting and waiting. In this waiting game we're playing, all of a sudden the photographer comes to us while we're waiting on the processional and says, "Oh, I need the rings." She hadn't taken a picture of the rings yet. So as we're waiting to start the processional, she grabs the rings at that point. Okay, and then this little wedding directing lady comes out of the house, talks to the groom, goes back in, comes out of the house, talks to the groom, goes back in, 3 or 4 times doing this stuff, and just a little bitty tiny wedding like this, and they're like 10, 15 minutes late starting that little tiny wedding. All the guests are there, everybody's ready, and it's like, what's going on here? Very ill planned, okay? Very AAA personality type woman that did not have any nice gesture to her at all, at least towards me. And I'm whatever, I don't know her, but so the bride and the groom are going to give roses to mothers, okay? Now, there's a way that you do this so it flows smoothly. The way you do it is the bride is holding the roses along with her bouquet, and when the groom comes up to shake Dad's hand and to grab his bride's hand to bring her up, he steps beside the bride and waits for the father to back away, and then he takes one of the roses. He's standing right there next to Mom, gives her a rose. At the same time, the bride is doing the same thing. But instead, here's this bride in this little teeny wedding with this huge train on her dress, big, nice, beautiful dress, on the side of this freaking mountain by a little bitty tiny cabin. And I guess the wedding director set this up this way. She's got these 2 roses in this thing that the flower girl was using for the petals. And so the way I understood it was supposed to go was I'm doing the introduction. They were going to give the roses to the mothers. Well, I get through the introduction. The bride looks at me and says, "Are we going to do the roses?" It's like, you should have already done it. Of course, I didn't say that. But so they, in that big ass dress, walk over to the flower girl instead of the flower girl walking to her. And then they pull the roses out, and the roses have tape and plastic. They got to sit there and fight with that shit because that wasn't ready. And then the bride with her big dress has to walk over to her mom and her husband's mom to give these roses. And she's got this big ass dress. Totally ill planned. This woman gets paid big money for this crap. Big money. The brief conversation I had with her at the beginning turned almost caustic because she couldn't understand what I was trying to tell her. And finally I just said, fuck it, I don't care. That's on you. Bottom line, where this ends this evening, and I've had similar experiences before, if you are having a wedding and it matters to you that someone helps you direct the wedding, that someone that knows weddings and understands people and people control and knows all the elements of what's going on and how to best plan this stuff. So it looks good, so it flows good, so the pictures turn out good, all the above. Hire us. Read our reviews, hire us. Number one, our fees are going to be comparable to all these girls. That's fact. So, if you need a wedding planner, wedding director, month of coordinator, if you need a consultation, call us. Our offices are in Columbiana, Alabama. We have nice offices. We also have 3 different venues. According to your personality, according to where you want to be, according to your budget, we can work with you. If you've already got a venue, then you need to find out, is there someone that sometimes there'll be a day of director at some of these venues. More than likely there's usually not, but there's a few places that do. So anyway, we can help you through your day. We can help Instagram, Catherine Marie. We are the team. We are the bomb. No brag. You want to get your wedding done your way. We don't care how quirky you are. We don't care what your personalities are. We don't care. We're going to make sure your wedding goes off just the way you want it. And we're going to give you options. We know how to think outside the box. We did not just read a manual or watch a YouTube video. We created the manual and made the YouTube video. So end it, get it right the first time. Get it right the first time. Hey, weddings all over the Southeast, we know and are very intimately familiar with the vast majority of all the venues around here. We've done every kind of wedding, to the most traditional, to the most fundamentalist Christian, to Catholic weddings, to Episcopalian weddings, to Star Wars weddings, to Alice in Wonderland weddings,
Native American
weddings,
Indian weddings,
Hindu, worked with Hindu priests for fusion weddings, you name it. Even, I dare tell you, nudist wedding, because it's your memories. It's about you. Our job is, number one, to give you a lot of options to think about. You know that there's a lot of tradition in weddings, but there's no rules. You don't have to do it anyway. There's no etiquette in weddings. That stuff is out the window. You have freedom to do what you want to do. You create your own rules, you create your own etiquette, and we're there to help it go off the way it should go off, the way you want it to go off. And the only way it should go off is the way you want it to go off, not the way somebody else wants it to go off. So if you want somebody that's mature and free and understands what freedom is and supports freedom, you're not going to find anybody else as professional, as thorough, and as good as this team is. Dr. Kelsey Graham and Catherine Marie are your team. No one does it better. Remember that. drkelseygraham.com, abnormalchurch.org. Look us up on Wedding Wire and be ready to be amazed. Thank you. Congratulations if you just got engaged and planning your wedding. Let's get it right the first time, because we don't like repeat business. We want to get it right the first time. We want you to have good memories, and we want you to think positive of us. Thank you and good night.